YouTube, Watchify here with another video. Today I thought I'd do a head-to-head comparison with the Seiko SRPB43 Cocktail Time and the Orient Bambino version 4. A battle of the affordable Japanese automatic dress watches, you might say. I haven't done one of these videos before, so let's see how it turns out. The criteria I'll be judging these watches on is shown on the screen. The scores are of course solely based on my own opinion. Scoring will be 1 through 5, with 5 being best. And at the end I'll tally the total scores and summarize the results as best I can. Starting off with the dials, the Seiko Cocktail Time gets a 5 in my book. The faceted dial indices, the silver frame date window, and the silver almost bluish dial look really classy. The Bambino gets a 4 here. It has a beautiful blue and black gradient dial color. It also has faceted indices that are similar in shape to the Seiko, however they're not done to the same level as the Seiko. The date window is only framed in white, and it's still a great looking dial, but not worthy of a score of 5. So when it comes to the dials, the Seiko picks up the win here. Next up are the hands. The Seiko Silver Delphine hands go together perfectly with the dial and indices, so it gets a score of 5. The blued second hand with its skeletonized diamond shape at the end adds a nice splash of color. The Bambino's hands are similar in shape but appear more basic. I wish they had extended out a little bit further. And the second's hand is ordinary, and I could have done without the red tip. The Bambino gets a score of 3 here. Neither watch has any lume on the dial, so both will get an NA for this category. This isn't a big deal. Most dress watches don't have lume, so we'll move on. In the category of crystals, they both have domed crystals, but Seiko is going to get the edge here for having hard legs over the Bambino's regular mineral crystal. I have a favorable opinion of hard legs based on my experience, and I wish Orient would come up with something similar or just use Seiko's hard legs. Since they are sister companies, you would think that they could share some technologies. Seiko gets a score of 4 and Orient gets a 3. Onto the cases. Both cases are similar in shape and they are both all polished. The Seiko case is 40.5 millimeters while the Orient is 42 millimeters, which is rather large for a dress watch. The crown on the Seiko is larger and angled, so it's easier to grip. The Seiko crown is signed with the engraved Seiko S, while the unsigned crown on the Bambino is smaller but still adequate. The Seiko also gets marks for having a see-through case back, while the Orient does not. Finally, the lugs on the Seiko have a sharper downturn, lending to being able to conform to the wrist more than the Orient's lugs. To me, this is a clear win for Seiko with a score of 4 to Orient's 3. The next category is movements. The Seiko has a 4R35 movement with a gold-colored rotor, while the Bambino has Orient's in-house F6724 movement. Both are tried-and-true workhorse movements. Both hack and hand wind and have about the same power reserve. The Seiko 4R35 has a factory accuracy of plus 45 to minus 35 seconds a day, but you almost always get better than that out of the box. I couldn't find equivalent accuracy info for Orient's movement, but both movements can be regulated, however. I can of course see why the Orient movement would not be decorated in any way, since it does not have a see-through case back like the Seiko. So the edge here is going to go to the Seiko simply due to the decoration and how the 4R35/NH35 movements are more ubiquitous and probably easier to source in case you ever needed to replace the movement. So the score will be Seiko 4 and Orient 3. Next up is the strap and bracelet category. The 20mm Seiko leather strap looks nice in patent black and blue stitching with the pliant clasp. I only wish Seiko had made the strap a little thicker and quality feeling. The Bambino has a great looking matte black 22mm faux alligator leather strap with a simpler traditional buckle. I'm going to give the win to Orient here, so Seiko gets a score of 3 versus the Orient's score of 4. Next is the category of brand recognition and reputation. This might be a touchy topic, but it's clear that Seiko is the more well-known of the two brands. They have a longer history and have come out with many iconic watches. The more common Seiko models are easily found for sale in department stores. The Orient brand is less well known to non-watch enthusiasts, but it seems like they're working on changing that via social media. I have yet to see an Orient watch for sale in a department store. And in terms of reputation, the Seiko brand is synonymous with reliability and having watches to fit all price ranges. Yes, they do have their quality control issues in terms of misaligned chapter rings and whatnot, but fundamentally their watches are reliable and last many years. Orient's also well regarded in the watch community and has been coming out with some great models, so I feel that they're up and coming and will get more recognition from the average consumer as time goes on. Seiko takes the win here and gets a 4, while the Orient gets a 3 in this category. The final category is cost and value. The Seiko SRPB43 sells new for around $318 currently. I feel for what you get, that's a pretty fair price. The Orient Bambinos are known for being the value king when it comes to affordable and reliable automatic dress watches. I bought this model for $135 in 2020, and at the time of this video it's selling for even less, so now it's selling for $114. For that money you get a reliable Japanese brand dress watch from a brand with some history. For those of you just getting into watches, it makes way more sense to get something like this Bambino versus more expensive designer branded or internet startup quartz watches. The Seiko Cocktail Time is almost 3 times the cost of this Orient Bambino, but is it really 3 times as good as this Orient? I would say no to that. So for me, this is a clear win for Orient, and they're going to get a score of 5 versus a score of 3 for Seiko. The Seiko SRPB43 takes the overall win with a total score of 32 versus Orient's 28. Both are great watches, but the Bambino's size could be an issue for some. I recently got this version 5 Bambino and really like the changes Orient made. It now has a see-through case back, a smaller 40.5mm case size with brushing on the sides, and it has nicer hands. I plan on doing a review video on it soon. For those that only occasionally have a need for a quality dress watch and therefore don't want to spend a lot of money on one, this Bambino version 4 would be a nice purchase. Both watch lines come in a multitude of variations and colorways, so if you like the watch but want it in a different color or strap, it's likely you'll find one that you like. Just a note that I should have included a category for water resistance, even though these are both dress watches. The Seiko SRPB43 is rated for 50 meters water resistance, while the Orient Bambino is water resistant to 30 meters. So that would have been an additional win for the Seiko. That's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting or helpful. If you did, consider leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing. I try to read and reply to every comment and plan on continuing to upload watch-related content on a regular basis. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.